Tom Izzo makes his choice for Michigan State basketball assistant coach. Finally, why are we loving this hire? And then who on earth is visiting this weekend for football? Let's go.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white at least 3 days a week. 10 months out of the year, we do this 5 days a week. In the summer, June, July, we're going to drop down to 3 days a week, but this is the fourth episode this week, so look at us for just overachieving right here. There we go. Eat your heart out, every elementary school teacher that said that I just wasn't doing enough. So there we have it. Today's episode, big news in the basketball front. Saddi Washington, he's an assistant coach, and then a little bit of football recruiting news and notes. But before that, please rate, review, subscribe, comment below on YouTube how you are feeling about the hire of Mr. Washington for Michigan State basketball. And hey, you know what? If you ever want to reach out with any questions, comments, concerns about anything in your life going on, lockedonspartans@gmail.com is the place to find us. All right, into the mix here. Saddi Washington, the prodigal son of Lansing. He is coming home, baby. Yes, Tom Izzo, he has hired the former Michigan assistant coach to become the other guy on his bench, which now allows for 5 assistant coaches. That's a recent development with the NCAA, but that was a seat that was open for quite some time here, but finally it has been made. Saddi Washington, of course, the son of Stan Washington, one of the all-time greats at Michigan State. He was an all-Big Ten player for the Spartans back in the 60s, and if you go looking in the record books, he is the number 33 all-time scorer at Michigan State. So a little full circle moment for Saddi Washington here. Now, before I get into why I love it, I reached out on Twitter. I said MSU basketball hiring Saddi Washington gets a thumbs blank from you. Options were thumbs up or thumbs down, and this is like Kim Jong-un approval numbers that we're seeing right now. He got 94% thumbs up. That was after 935 votes. So yes, Spartan Nation is absolutely loving this hire. I'm with the 94%. I'm not going to do hot take radio here and say, yeah, here's why I don't like it. No, I absolutely love this for 3 reasons that we're going to go through right now. The first one, it's an outside voice, so to speak, right? I mean, look, no assistant coach is going to come in here, change the ways that Tom Izzo has, and we're not looking for that too. We're not looking for a complete destruction of this program and changing everything that Tom Izzo has done. But it is nice to step outside of the family, so to speak. All right, because, well, all the other assistant coaches, for the most part, have had Michigan State ties. One of the finalists, Chris Fowler, Western Michigan assistant coach. He spent time at Michigan State. He was the finalist, but of course they went with Mr. Washington, as we have stated, as you already know. But this is going to be different perspectives coming in, and it's everything that he brings. He's got a defensive background. He has a background working with the wings over at Michigan, and also the second reason why I love this, he has experience working with the bigs at Michigan. And my goodness gracious, State fans know this all too well. We are dying, just begging for anyone to come in here and just develop any big man, because ever since Xavier Tillman walked out that door, maybe future NBA champion Xavier Tillman, actually, I should say, there has been an incredible lack of development for anyone that works inside the paint here at Michigan State. It has been a dry spell of big man development. So anyone with even 12 minutes of experience developing big men, you are welcome here. All right, Saddi has a little bit longer than just 12 minutes, so that is good to come in here with. This is important to have someone that can just take some bigs under their wings, and God, would someone just please develop a kid, for crying out loud. And the third reason to love this hire, strong Midwest recruiter. Per 24/7 Sports, this is who Saddi Washington is credited with recruiting over at Michigan. We're talking Caleb Houston, Musa Diabate, Hunter Dickinson, Kobe Buffkin, Brandon Johns, which was a big recruiting win for Michigan over Michigan State. That was kind of a stunner back in that recruitment. And Terrace Reed, just to name a few names. Those are 4 stars, a few of them 5 stars, but nevertheless, yes, this guy can recruit. Obviously, The world of basketball has changed a little bit. The world of college has changed a little bit just because of NIL and all that stuff. But still, nevertheless, to have strong recruiting ties, that's a guy that you want in your corner. He is proven. He has done it. He's done it at a Big Ten level. He's done it regionally. I love having this guy over here. So some other news and notes to get to. Doug Wojcik, he has been promoted to associate head coach. John Borovich, he has been moved to assistant coach. Austin Thornton moved to assistant coach. And Thomas Kelly, he's already an assistant. But with those 4 guys plus Saddi Washington, those are your 5 assistant coaches right now. And that's, again, a recent development by the NCAA. Typically, it was 3 guys. Now it's 5 can be an assistant, but still only 3 can recruit off campus. I don't know how they're going to split that up. Who are the 2 guys that can only stay home? I guess it'll still be John Borovich and then Austin Thornton, but I don't imagine that making a big difference here in the organization structurally at Michigan State. So there you have it. Saddi Washington, welcome to Michigan State. Absolutely loving this hire. Now, before we get into football recruiting here, folks, passion, drive, and patience, what brings home the win is also what keeps your number one ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. We're talking superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and so much more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every single time, or it's your hard-earned money back. Because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home those huge wins. So what are you waiting for out there? Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. All right. Switching up sports here, we're going on to the football field because we got some recruiting to talk about. It's going to be another weekend of official visits. But first, hey, Friday, we're on potential commit watch here because Braylon Collier out of Sandusky, Ohio. That's right, just growing up in the shadows of Cedar Point. Love to see it. He is set to make his commitment on Friday. Now, this is a kid that just visited last weekend. He was going to visit Iowa. He was going to visit Iowa State in the next upcoming weekends. But dang it, if he just commits to Michigan State, the kid's free to live his life. I don't see why he would just make those visits immediately after. But nevertheless, let's wait. Let's be patient. Let's stay tuned to what he is going to announce on Friday. 6'1", 170-pound receiver from, just like we said, the great state of Ohio. The state could be a little greater if they could finally start beating Michigan at the end of the year, but I digress. We'll let that be their problems right now. Braylon Collier, the number 33 ranked kid in the state of Ohio, of course, a very talent-rich state when it comes to high school football, and he is the number 133rd rated wide receiver per 24/7 Sports. With his game, you watch his film, you see speed. Speed is the emphasis, and I think that is the theme with Jonathan Smith in this recruiting cycle when it comes to wide receivers. You look at any receiver that they have coming here in the future. Another one, actually, with the last name Collier. And when I say coming here, I mean official visits, not, already committed to the 2025 class. But when you look at who they are hosting for the month of June, that is a lot of speed coming to Michigan State. They feel pretty good with who they have as far as big physical receivers. Jaylen Brown last year, of course, Nick Marsh. Antonio Gates Jr. comes back from the portal after about a 6-minute swim. So it is all about the speed. And if you've watched the Jonathan Smith, Brillan Klier offense at Oregon State, there is a heavy need, high production slot receiver position that they want to target here. So what you see with Braylon Collier, yes, I mean, he can high point the football. Like he, in his highlight film, has tuned up some sorry cornerbacks that are unfortunately on one-on-one coverage with him in the end zone. But man, if it's ever just man coverage on the outside, he's doing go routes. Sometimes they'll do the cover two where the safety also comes and helps. Oftentimes, he is running beyond them, but you also see those bunch formation screen passes, and man, he is good at finding the hole. He is a very jittery receiver. Yes, this is exactly what you are looking for if you're Jonathan Smith and Brillan Klier, speed demons that can work out in the screen game. So, who is visiting this weekend? Guys, we got, let's see if I can do the math here really quick, 7 names. So, a little light this week. It's going to be a bigger weekend this following weekend coming up. And it's actually 4 guys that are already committed to the 2025 class. You almost have the entire 25 class right now coming this weekend. You got 3-star outside linebacker Charles White, 3-star quarterback Leo Hannon, 3-star linebacker Damari Malone, and then 3-star running back Jace Clarizio, who all that he needs to do is just take a scooter down Abbott, and he's already there. I mean, of course, the East Lansing native. This won't be a far trip for him, but who are the guys that are not committed that are coming? We are talking wide receiver Charles Taplin. Hey, check this out. 6'1", 160 pounds. He is a speed demon from Texas. And the official visits that he also has scheduled this summer, Washington State and Tulsa. Next up, 3-star defensive end Sherrod Henderson. He's 6'3", 210 pounds from North Carolina. He was at Duke last week, University of South Florida the following week, and then Virginia Tech later on this month. Now, hey, 6'3", 210 pounds. You're wondering, defensive end, this guy needs to eat about 40 peanut butter sandwiches per day to get up to a playable weight. Well, traditionally, that would be right. But this is what we are seeing with Chad Wilt, with Joe Rossi, with that rush edge position we have been talking about throughout the offseason. It is almost a hybrid between defensive end, linebacker. They're going to be asked to do some pass coverage throughout their time here at Michigan State. You saw it. Hey, you know what? Last week, you saw them not just focus on a rush edge position because Mekhi Newton, all right, that's more of your strong side defensive end, your traditional defensive end. But with the guy 6'3", 210 pounds, that's a guy that profiles as someone that is fluid athletically, someone that can keep up with the tight end, a receiver out of the backfield, or whatever coverage that he is assigned to. You've seen this with guys that they've already gotten out of the transfer portal so far this season. Young guys like Tyler Gillison, Anthony Jones, Samaj Bridgman. Guys that, yes, might be a little undersized for a traditional defensive end spot, but it's all about speed. It's all about being able to keep up in pass coverage too, and being able to do a lot that they are asking you to do. So Sherrod Henderson, that's a guy whose profile that they like. Next weekend, they also have Tyrone Burris. Very similar build. I think he's got a little more weight on Henderson right now, but nevertheless, that is going to be a guy to keep your eye on because look, this year they have options for that rush edge. Don't get us wrong. They got the Jalen Thompsons. They got the Jordan Turners. None of them profile exactly the mold that they are looking for. So with the younger guys coming in, whether it's a transfer portal or the recruiting ranks, that's to keep your eye on in the next 2 or 3 years to see how that position really solidifies itself on the defensive side of the ball. Now, the last guy we're going to get to, Drew Nichols, 6'5", 270-pound offensive tackle out of California. He's got Boise State lined up, and he has UCLA lined up too later this month. But yes, out of the state of California, he's already had a prior relationship with Jim Maholchek. That's the offensive line coach at Michigan State. So, yeah, we'll see where Drew Nichols nets out after this visit. Now, Tyler Kielmeyer, that was a tight end that was going to visit this weekend. However, he is no longer visiting. We just had a tight end last weekend out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's, Jaden Savory, just visit. They're going to take 2 tight ends this class. They already have one out of Wisconsin with Emmett Bork. So I do wonder if MSU is on the 2-yard line for Jaden Savory here. Now, Savory does have a long list of visits coming up. Wisconsin, Kansas, BYU, Duke. Let's see if he commits to Michigan State and shuts down his month of June. You know, maybe shuts down the travel schedule, keeps the tread on the tires a little lighter than what it would have been. But, yes, stay tuned for that. And that is your recruiting update here, guys. I mean, that's what we got. Some nice little assistant coach news for basketball. We got some recruiting news for football. And there you go. I think we're all ready to go into the weekend, right? There we go. All right. That's the spirit, everyone. All right, guys. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening. We will be back at the end of this weekend. We got some nice guests coming up in the following week, too. You know where to keep it at least 3 days a week. Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white. Love you all. Let's have a great weekend. Go green.